There we go. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? I've just spent 5 minutes trying to artistically arrange the scarf and I've given up. I'm just going to wear it straight. So, it's a big day today. It wasn't going to be, but I turned it into one. Because we are going to go back, way back, but we're going to bring it in to this decade and we're going to have a bit of fun with this old favourite of mine. Good afternoon, Daisy. Hello, Daisy. Welcome to Chandler's Cottage. Good to see you. Hello, Gwen and Glennis. Pam is in the building. Valerie's here. Chris is here. Beverly, hi. Hey, Bev. How are you? Margie, good afternoon. Gwen, hello. Diana, good hello. Karen, good afternoon to you. Nancy, what's going on? What's going on at your place? Karen's here from Kuala Lumpur. Wouldn't we all like to be there? Well, actually, I'd like to be at the KL airport getting on the transfer bus to Club Med right now. Oh, Diane nearly forgot. It was Wednesday. Yes, alerts are really good for things, aren't they? Except when you follow your mates overseas and they go off in the middle of the night. Which reminds me, my phone woke me up at midnight. My husband was still up ordering Nespresso. We'll have words about that later. Karen DeWilt, good afternoon to you and to all the ladies. Helen, Joe, hi. Denise, hi. Denise did orders for you. I think, oh my goodness, it's been busy. Steve's back today. Yay. There's only been a couple of altercations of things I may or may not have done properly according to the instruction manual. Cecily, hello to you. Kerry, good afternoon. Donna's here from the UK. She's nearly finished her Baltimore. Great. That's what we like to hear. Excellent. Joy, Yvonne, hello. Catherine is still on holidays in Fiji with a cocktail. I have water. How does that even, it doesn't even translate, does it? Janine, hi. Barbara, good afternoon. Now, I know I didn't order for you. Hello, Daisy. Janet, oh, I'm just confusing myself now. There was so many things to do for everyone this week. I hope I got it all right. Margaretha, good afternoon. Glenda, hi. Gay, hi. Gay, yeah, sorry, you're all fixed, aren't you? I'm just going, wait. Yes, that's all under control. Margaret, hello. Sharon Kesey from Keysborough can only stay for a while. Of course you're off to the hospital, mate. You've just, God, it's just life at the moment for you, isn't it? Now, Sharon still needs a buddy to come to Ngambie, and she's written it here again now. So if you want to get in the fun car with Sharon or head up with her, then please let me know and we'll hook you all up. Bernadette, looking forward to seeing the Baltimore. Good afternoon, Robin and Louise and Deb. Yolanda, hello to you. It's good morning, should I say to you. I was going to come on and show off all of my how many ways to say hello today, and I completely forgot. Chris, hi. Janine, hi. Jill Cross, hi. Cheryl, hi. Oh, great. Okay, but should we just... Nancy, you're a worry. An Irish coffee in the middle of the afternoon. If you fall asleep now during the show, we will all know why. Oh, well, thank you, Diane, my virtual merchandising manager. Yes, I did try and make a bit of an effort. Yes, I had to wipe down all the cobwebs off the pot. I don't know where they all came from, but yeah, we're trying. We're doing a little bit, and I've got my little bento box. Oh, that's a bit of a bare shelf. What happened here? I think there was supposed to be other stuff up on there. Never mind. You've got it. It's a bare shelf. We'll just move this over a bit. Just if I do that, that's a bit better. That's a bit better. Okay. Yes, so I tried. The bamboo was bought several months ago for this occasion, I must say. Oh, Janine, hubby's in hospital. You knew that, didn't I? Well, that's okay. You make sure that they look after you this afternoon with a cuppa as well. And Sally says, yes to Irish coffee anytime. I'm in there with an espresso martini and the whole bit as well. All right, this afternoon. It's been job share day again today, which means that I put some stuff up for the show. Steve put the banner up and then he put some stuff up. So I'm hoping it's all up. I'm hoping it's all there. We had a delivery from Timeless Treasures at about 11 o'clock. We have rushed it through and got it onto the website. I hope. I hope it's all there. So I'm going to take down, it looks precarious, but it shouldn't be. I'll put this down. So there are some new ones in. Now this, you know, I like sussing out the way they do things. This is actually, it was Timeless Treasures and Robert Kaufman in the same box. This is Shades of the Season. However, I'm sure you and I will agree these butterflies have been here before on blue as part of Imperial Collection. I think they're messing with our heads. I really do. But just have a look at that colour. Isn't that just beautiful? It's really, really rich orangey gold. And I can think of lots of things that we have in stock that will go with it. As I said, I haven't even had a chance to play yet. Fresh in, just got here, just put it up. That's why Steve's low flying to the post office right now, because I did ask him to put them up before he went for the show. So they're just beautiful butterflies. But see all these, it's almost like a stained glass effect. It's got lots and lots of different colours in each of the wings. So there's that one. Oh, there's heaps here. I'll get a whole set together. Oh, do you remember we had those beautiful black and grey paisleys come in? And a couple of others. Well, this is the red version now. Look at that. So it goes down to a beautiful rich burgundy. So there's that one, and it's got a friend. Where's its friend? Oh, it's on the floor. Here we go. That's its friend. So I can see these, the potential of these I know exists, because if I think about what we've got, I can see them going into applique essential packs. And I can see them going into Oriental quilts. That camera does not like you today, does it? Let me just try and fix that. That's a bit... No. He doesn't want to play. Why are you not playing? It can't cope with the gold. Hang on a minute. I'm just going to walk around and try and fix that. It cannot cope with the gold. There we go. It was focused on the Baltimore, which I'm going to take as a compliment, but not right now. So I can see them going into so many different things, and I can apply them to lots of things. From, you know, piecing, sashing, binding, paper piecing. So therefore I love them, because I can sort of tell straight up they're going to be really versatile. Then we've got, if you go into Shades of the Season, we've got all those beautiful, I haven't even got one out. There's an apple green, a red, that soft orangey gold, haven't we? Oh, and that new teal Shades of the Season, and they're just like a tonal with a little gold speckle all over them. These all, the butterflies go with that, and this goes with it. Look, just beautiful, gorgeous rust colour. My goodness, love that. I just love that colour. So, and just with the gold, there's a little shady speckly effect to the background as well. It's not flat, so it's got a really nice lot of movement in it. I'm going to take this down. Now, today, because we've got an Oriental theme going as well, if you have a look under today's banner, you will find my Summer Palace fabrics, and some of them have got a little bit of a spesh on them, and I thought that was important considering we're doing this quilt, because particularly the lattice wicker will make a great backing fabric. So at any stage along the way, you're going to have your backing fabric ready to go. And I loved this one with it. 4 meters is going to do the trick. But I just thought that, if that was on the back of this, because I will, you know, this is Champagne Fairy Frost, so that matches up the cream. And I think the grey is really nice with it. So that one's up. The black and grey's on too, but I just really liked the idea of the cream and grey. This is the green in the Swirly Well. Again, I can see this going into, for us, a lot of reference applique packs, small piecing and everything. It's got beautiful, it's a real blender. It's got lots of different shades of green in it. And it's that kind of blue green. It's not apple green, and because of that, it's a rarity. It's really hard to get this colour. So you can get it in batiks, of course, and in solids, but to get it in something like this with a little bit of metallic, they don't come along that often. And testament to that. That's why I am popping those shades into my Oriental lot coming up. So too much to do. Okay, what else is on this side? Oh, Plum Blossom on Spesh. And look at this. Now, this belongs to, oh yeah, this is the Timeless Treasures. Thank you. Sorry, I had to read that because I thought it might have been Darren. Darren is the new man in my life. I'll tell you in a minute. I have a new favourite man called Darren. Look, very unusual, pretty print with gold. Real mustardy golds. And these measure, they only measure about 3/4 of an inch. These little flowers. And I pulled out and tagged with it Antique Gold Fusions. Just yummy. Now these two are going in one of my kits for the soiree with a few other fabrics. So now don't take it all. Maybe I actually should have taken what I needed off the bowl first. I'll do that after the show. I've worked out how much I need. So I'd better take that off. Okay. Right, so Nan's in. Oh, thank you, Cass. That's a very important message from Cass. Post should be live now. I'll tell you what she's talking about in a minute. Nan is watching from Stanthorpe today. Lovely. Oh no, hang on, I got to go back up here. Hang on, who's here? Kizzy. Good afternoon, Anne. And just down the road from you, had a fun night, had a fun family night. And Philip Chandler, that's in the other room behind me, actually put Mum on Facebook. The world now. Pam Solomon has Facebook. We can't get to her. She is locked tight in the most secure membership of Facebook on the planet, thanks to Phil. All she wanted to do was be able to watch Chandler's Cottage shows, watch the soiree Facebook page, and basically keep an eye on me. Isn't that right, Mum? Just keep an eye on me. So she knows where I am, and I could actually stand here and have a chat with Mum now and go, so what are we doing tomorrow? Well, Dad's bowling. You know, we could sort of have that conversation. But we won't. I shall resist. Okay. Oh, now I'm really self-conscious. All right, so what I'm doing today, as you know, my mate Natasha in the UK has just run the Oriental Baltimore, and prior to that, it is one of the first quilts that I did, and it holds a lot of sentimental value to us. So this is the original. Natasha's got number 2. Which caused a little bit of confusion because I switched a couple of things around. And the pattern was for this one. But we got there. So this quilt started way back, and after the applique sampler, but back a long way. And I wanted to go through the process of learning how to do a block of the month. And I had designed this. And these are all taken from traditional Japanese mon symbols, which are family crests, Japanese family crests. And there's hundreds of them. I actually have a book, hundreds and hundreds of them. So, and I've only got little black and white images of each one, so I adapted them into these designs. Actually, they went through as a stitchery first, and I'll show that to you next week. But I can bring it back out. But then I adapted it into the applique sampler. And you have to make a lot of adjustments and things. But I wanted to also do all this 3D feature work. I had hoped perhaps to have 20, 30 people sign up for this quilt. And after the first month I had 100, and after the second month I had 200. And it forced us to make the jump into our shop we had in Beaumont because we ran out of room. And I was never going to open that shop, and well, that's a long story, isn't it? 9 years later. It was just going to be somewhere for us to have an online shop. So, but it stood the test of time, and I think it's because it's a classic design, because it does come from quite ancient symbols, and it's a fun quilt to do. but also it's a good learning quilt. So I wanted to at least offer it up again, because we're doing lots of different things at the moment. We've got the geisha starting. I have now finished my 4 corner blocks and I'm onto one of the long borders, or both long borders, for my applique sampler, so I can sign that off with my very, very patient girls. And the other one's going through. We've got Be Mindful running as well. But I still saw a gap for us to do this, and I also wanted to offer it up as part of a quilter's life. So the way that I've set this up is very different to what we've done to date. So you don't have to sign up for it. You don't have to commit. We're running it as what I want to call a casual club. It's a club, but it's casual. So you can come and go as you wish. If you would like to just buy a kit for each of the blocks that you really, really like, you don't have to do them all. So what we're going to do each month is mid-month, like today, we will do a Baltimore show, and there'll be other stuff going on, but the focus will be on one of the blocks. And we will put up the kit. This is the one that I've put up today. We will put up the kit for the block. And you can buy it if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. When you go in and have a look, there are 2 versions. There's one with the pattern and there's one without. So the one with the pattern is $27.50, and that includes your postage. Okay? So, and you can order it with other stuff, you know, if you want to, but it's all inclusive, so you might want to order that and a few other things, and it's up to you. So that's $27.50. You get your background and all your applique pieces, and if there's a piece of hobby or something that's critical to the technique that I have shown you on the show, which today it is, it's non-adhesive filing, then it's in the kit as well. So you will see that on the website. Okay, so that's $27.50. Now, what I've also done, I've ordered a bulk amount of Black Magic, and that is the background that we're using, and that's being put aside. So it doesn't matter if you order one now and you order one in 12 months' time. No, actually, it's only a 10-month club. What am I saying? In 6 months' time, for example, it's come from the same batch. So you can be confident everything's the same, okay? So that's that. And then, I mean, you might go, yeah, not keen on that one, but Lisa's doing the maple leaves in month 2, and I really want that, and I'm going to get that, and I'm going to add in the maple leaf. It's out there, the maple leaf fabric that she's got. I'm going to put it into a border. I'm going to make cushions, or I'm going to make a bed runner, or you might decide that you would just like 5 out of the 9 to do a bed runner to go along the base of your bed. I've seen that done before and it looks gorgeous. So you can come and go. You don't have to buy them all, but we will release them 1 month at a time. So this is our first one up. The other thing is too, is that for everyone though in a quilter's life, we have just posted up the introduction and this pattern into your standard membership. So if you're a Quilter's Life member and you're paying $10 a month, it's there. It's ready for you to go. So this is the best time to join, because you'll get your pattern as part of your $10 a month membership here. And then on the website as well, you will find that you can buy this without the pattern. So it's a lot cheaper, of course, because it's got the pattern in it. So either through Podia, through a Quilter's Life, you'll be able to just print off, download your pattern, and then you can come in and grab this kit, or you can work with whatever you've got in your stash. You might just want to buy your Black Magic, see what you've got. I did mark under today's banner all of the applique essential packs that I think would be fantastic as a booster to your stash. You know, all of the greens, the golds, reds and things that I think would be really good to add in. Even the red ones and sort of the orangey gold ones, they are wide enough, can you see down there, to do your ginger flowers later on. So I've tagged those up. So you've got 2 options. If you are in a Quilter's Life, you are set. And this is the best window of 2 weeks to join, because you'll get that first block, and then you can go back and grab all of the older posts that I'm going to pull down at the end of this month, print them off or save them to your desktop, and you're done. And then on the 1st of July, in a Quilter's Life, we start the geisha. It's all on. I'm going to keep you so busy. And the geisha, look, you know, some of the blocks in the geisha, being Japanese, you could mix and match with these. So there's going to be a lot A lot going on. A lot going on. And I'm going to give you a lot of the... Casca's, sorry, I didn't realise you were live. I'm going to give you a lot of extra tips compared to what's in the pattern, because this pattern was set up to do it traditional needle turn applique. So we are going to do a few different things along the way as well as a little extra. This particular Facebook show, I'll upload it to YouTube and it will come in under its own section now on my Lisa Chandler YouTube channel, but I will also upload it into a Podia as well. So if you're in there grabbing your patterns, it's going to be easy for you to watch it while you're in there. So I'll do that for you. Is there a picture of the Geyser quilt? Nope, not yet. I will have them both up for you next week, Tuesday, on the 21st, Nancy. We will be having that meeting with you about the geisha. Do you have the pattern for sale? Diana, we do have the pattern for sale. I think it's still there at the moment if you want to grab the pattern book. Yes. Cass said, sorry you were live. That's fine. Good afternoon, Jimmy. How are you today? Good to see you. And Fiona is finally awake. Fiona's coming to the soiree. Just thought I'd put that there. Marie Noel says, still got 4 blocks to make. Yes, well, you're way back with me, aren't you? Libby, good afternoon to you. All right, we're all good. Oh, Lorraine's here too. Good afternoon, Lorraine Bidler. Hello. Okay. Shall we start? Shall we do it? So I can't believe I'm doing this. All right. In month 1, in your pack or on A Quilter's Life, and it's there now, is the instructions of how to get started with your quilt. And also the cherry blossom block. So these are either there, or if you grab the pack with pattern in it, you will get these. Now you see how washed out, these look really washed out, and they do in the photo as well. I'm just looking at my screen. They're pretty washed out. But this is the new man, Darren, in my life. Darren helped me convince my gorgeous husband that we needed the best, we needed to lease our lives away for 5 years for the best Canon copier in the world. So we no longer have a dining room. We are putting in a printing station, and this means that we will be printing all of our patterns and everything in-house for you. And that also means we're going to do a lot more really, really cool stuff and pattern books. And I have a banner feeder. I didn't even know they existed. So when we do new patterns, which I will be for my birthday, Chandler Scottish birthday quilt, they're like 1.5 meters long borders. I'm going to be able to print your applique out on a piece of paper 1.5 meters long. Anyway, gorgeous Darren said, now that you've signed up, don't use your printer at the moment and don't print them at home. I'll print them for you. So somewhere over in the suburbs in Clayton, he's printing these for us for free at the moment, which was so nice of him. But I think we did just sign our lives away, maybe a kidney and our firstborn. So all fun, all good fun. But you'll get beautiful shiny patterns. You won't get these dull looking ones I printed on our old printer here. So, oh no, I didn't turn the overhead camera on. I think we can live without it. I've just looked up. Actually, no, it is so crooked. Hey, Phil, you're going, not dressed like that, you're not.
Your firstborn?
Oh, yes, sorry. Oh, my firstborn was in the other room. Yes, Phil, you may or may not have to go live at Canon HQ.
Aww.
You'd love it. It's really nice. I got schmoozed with good coffee and a very gorgeous, clean environment I would love to work in to design fabric. It was lovely. Okay. You will need for each block a fat quarter. We will not be cutting any of our blocks down. And the girls in the UK are going to have a very, very big giggle now. Yes, Diana, it is on the website. If you just put in Baltimore, you will find 2. Jennifer, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, Mark. How are you? Here we go. I'm going to fold that way. So, fat quarter. And we are not going to touch them, okay? We're not going to cut them down or anything yet, because what do we all do? We take forever to do our blocks, or we do our blocks and we're so impressed with them, we show them all our friends, we carry them around in our bags. and then they all get frayed on the edges. Our cat may or may not sit on them and they need sticky rollering, and then the edges all fray. And when we do come back to finish them off, we cut them down with these angles, so we will have 4 sides that are on the bias. So we're not going to touch them. We're going to leave it, and we're going to come back and cut them down later. Depending on the techniques you use as well, you might be putting tearaway on the back or weft on the back or something else like that. So we will leave that until the absolute end. It's very nerve-wracking, I'll admit, to come back and cut when it's all over later on, but I find it's less daunting if you're doing blocks that you perhaps finished a few months ago, as opposed to finishing 5 minutes ago. So, you know, we'll wait. But I would love you to fold your fabric both ways, always when you start out, so that you've got creases this way, and I know you can't see them through the camera, but it's there. Alright, now with the instructions, you're going to get lots of information about setting up your blocks and transferring your pattern on. And there is instructions here for transferring onto both light and dark backgrounds. Now obviously if you've got a light background, if you decide to do it with your own stash with a light, you'll be able to use your light box to transfer your pattern on. Too easy. If you want help choosing a fabric for your background, we've got lots of lovely light shadow plays, batiks, Northcote shimmers. There's a few here, so if you do want any help, please let me know and we can always send you out some swatches of what we're doing. We're only doing the kits in black, but we can help you out if you want some background. Now, with this particular block, well, with all of these blocks, you are going to have 2 pattern pieces at the back. We are printing all of the patterns single-sided, so it's not a nightmare for you to retrace them out, and they are in the right orientation, so that means they appear as they will on the actual block. So if you decide to do yours with raw edge applique and you're going to use steamer seam as your adhesive, remember you've got to reverse it first. So you pop it down onto a light box upside down, trace that pattern back onto the back of it, and then you've got the pattern in reverse to trace all your shapes off, because then they'll end up in the right orientation. They come off and go down onto the block. So just remember that. I know we've done that a bit before, haven't we, with the row of pansies and things recently. All right. So with these 2 pages, you've got little dotted lines here, and this is where the 2 pieces are going to overlap. So I usually do this, do a little bit of a fold, and thanks to the magic of Cass, they match up perfectly. So a little bit of sticky tape. Nancy, I'm going to have to come back to you later, my darling, because, or I'll get Steve to have a look when he gets back. He has set it up with the picture, and then he should be able to go in there and find the kit. You will only find the kit for the first one though. So just let me, I can't do 2 things at once at the moment, Nancy, so I will come back to you. And hello Cindy in Yeovil, how are you today? I will come back to you as soon as Steve's back, and we will double check it for you and give you a description, because honestly I kind of threw it all at him at the last minute. Not at the last minute, after he'd finished all your mail orders, and then he did a runner to the post office. Oh no, you're talking on a Quilter's Life, aren't you? Click on it, just click on it, click on anything, keep pushing buttons, Nancy. I think you click actually on the button or the title. Cass might be able to butt in and help me with that if she's still watching. If not, I will help you with that later. Okay. Once you've got that done, you can see what I've done. I've just folded it in half again so I can line up that fold through onto the creases on my block. And then I'm just sticky taping it top and bottom. And I just did all of that without even telling you what I was doing. So that just shows how often I've done it. Good afternoon, Maggie. I threw in that 1 metre of, well not through, we put in that 1 metre of fan fabric for you too, my darling. That's all done. Okay. This is transfer paper, graphite paper, carbon paper, all of the above. Is that Steve back? Stevie, can you just check that it's all working okay on the website? But I think Nancy's talking about a quilter's life. For the block of, for the Oriental Baltimore kits, please. Ta. This is transfer paper. I have popped it under today's banner. If you haven't already got some. Little pricey. I think it's nearly $30 a pack, but you have got 12 sheets. You will use one for your whole quilt. So this is going to last you forever, and it's going to last you for the geisha and lots of other things. So, and this is good stuff. I mean, I've probably had two really good ones over the time. One lot I bought from an art supply direct from America, and when I nearly got through the first lot, they went out of business. This is the next lot that I've found that I'm really happy with, because you only want white. I don't want all the different coloured ones. I just want a really nice soft white. So this one is great. So when you've got this tape top and bottom, you can come through and slide this underneath, and then you've just got to remember to move it up and down. So you don't need a piece that fits completely underneath your pattern. If you just tape top and bottom, you can move it up and down. Then grab a pen and a cuppa, or a cocktail for some of you, and you're going to trace this on. Where do we want? We want this bit down here. Let's go the leaves. I want you to be able to see. I'm using a black pen now, and then later on, if I was a smart chook, I would have brought my red pen in as well, because the paper is good for transferring on the pattern, but it's also excellent for transferring the shapes onto your applique fabrics. I'm just going to do a couple of leaves on here for you, because I can come back and reline this up later and do it. So when you transfer your shapes on, you don't need to worry about all of the embroidery detail, because remember, this is transferring the pattern. Oh heavens, I missed a bit. Didn't put it over far enough. There we go. This is transferring on the actual shape onto the background, but of course you're going to cover this up with your applique fabrics, so you don't need to actually pop all of the little vein details on. Now, you can see under there, hold that up, you can see I've got 3 leaves on there, and they are complete leaves. Now, if I'm going to needle turn applique these, then that's fantastic, because I want that line all the way around to be able to see where I'm going. Yes, however, 2 other things. If you have, if you're going to use the method I'm doing today, which is bagging them out, then I only need to mark the top and the bottom of the leaves, maybe a smidge on the side. I just need a little bit of it, so that when I put down my complete pre-shaped leaf, I know where the top and bottom of the leaf is. Now, the other thing is, while I can actually needle turn to match the whole shape drawn onto the background, which I've got on here, the other thing is, depending on the fabric I draw onto, I might be able to pop the entire leaf shape onto my applique fabric, and then just line it up with the little points on there and needle turn it using the line that's drawn on the applique fabric. Now, I'm not going to do that this month. I'm going to do that when we come back next month. Today we're just doing full bag out method. But what I want to say is, just have a think about what method you're going to use before you start transferring onto your block, because a lot of the time you don't need the whole line drawn on. I am going to move that up a little bit. Now, I'll just transfer on the outer edge. I'm just transferred on the outer edge of the stem that goes around. I'm not going to worry about doing the whole stem on this inside, because I'm going to freestyle that. I'm not going to worry about it. I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so there's lots of leaves to do this month, and then you've also got Now, if I got my paper underneath, these are the lines here, and these are going to be, well, they can be stitched. If you are going to do the geisha with me, then you might want to wait, because we're going to do skinny stems, and if you are a Quilters Life member, we already did our skinny stems this week, so you could actually do skinny stems with these like we did with the dandelion stem. So there's a few, there's all these little lines in down through here, and look, some of them you could actually add freestyle after. These are essentially circular designs, but everything that sort of fits within them is quite botanical. So I think that's what makes them really interesting. When we do things, we either say they're stylized, like a lot of the Melba designs, or they're botanical, like Under the Australian Sun. But with these, there's a bit of a mix going on, because you've got this quite formal circular design, but then there's a lot of botanical freestyle stuff that goes on the inside. So I think that's what makes them really special. So yeah, hop on the internet and have a look, because Japanese mon symbols, you will be amazed how many there are. So look at that, see, that really shows up really, really well for you to work with. I should turn that around that way, shouldn't I? Because that's the way it goes. There we go. All of that chalk will come off as you're working, and if not, it will come off at the end with a little toothbrush or just a little cotton bud, a little bit of water. It will all come off. If there's any still showing, I doubt there will be. So that's onto the background. That's the start of mine onto the background, so I can set that aside for a minute. So when I first used to teach this, we just did traditional needle turn right through. This was still the best block to start with, because you've got these lovely big leaves, nothing too scary. So we're going to start working with ones that are this big, and then we're going to come down to these ones that have got more inverted little corners on them, and then we'll work our way up into skinny leaves, then down to these ones in the wisteria. So lots of, we'll slowly build. Well, there's our skinny stems up here. We'll slowly build up our techniques. When we do the geisha in podia, there are a lot more techniques, and there will be a lot of extensions and quite unique techniques compared to what we're doing here. But basic essentials here, and then the geisha will take you up a step. All right, now the next bit is to have a look at our leaves. And so instead of doing needle turn, this month I want to do the bagged out method with interfacing. So we've talked about this before. We did our ginger pots, ginger pot cushion. I should have brought that over. It's sitting in the corner, in the naughty corner. So there's a few things that we have done with this before, and we're using a lot of this technique in the geisha. So we shall have a go today and do a couple of them. So this is, I've got my little pattern here, and I will grab one of our lovely greens that are going into our kit. So this is what comes out in month 1 kit, with or without the pattern, depending on which way you're going to do it. You've got beautiful timeless treasures in this gorgeous, remember this gorgeous circular dot? I stashed this for both this quilt and for the initial kit that I'm doing for the geisha. Then we have Robert Kaufman, this is Sprout in Batik, and we've got Celadon in Batik. Hi Steve.
Should that kit have a little bit of red for those little...
No, they're embroidered.
Oh.
Thank you. No, they're colonial or French knots. I'm leaving it up to the team to do their own embroidery threads. Because everyone's got a stash of those, haven't they? Okay, so we've got Timeless Treasures, Sprout, Celadon, we've got Cameo Fairy Frost, we have Sweet Pea in Batik, and we have Northcote Shimmer. Put those there like that. Plus you've got your fat quarter that's coming through of black and you've got a piece of non-adhesive violin. Now, Steve and I had this discussion before the show. This is not up online yet by the meter, but we will rectify that. Don't buy the one that's there. It's adhesive. That's going to drive you nuts. So just wait and we'll get this one up for you this afternoon. Okay. So, which one? Which one will we start with? Heavens. Now, this is your quilt. I'm going to do this lecture once, okay? This is your quilt. It is entirely up to you which fabric you put where. So you can look here and go, ooh, she used the dark one here, so this is the dark one here. You can do that, or you can just mix it up and do whatever you like. I'm going to start with this one this afternoon for this leaf here. So I'm going to chop off a piece just to make it easier to show you. Now I got cheeky. I have gone through and tagged all the essential things that you need for applique. Your applique pins, your scissors, I've popped up a couple of threads. If you haven't stashed your super bobs yet and you want to treat yourself, this is the best time to do it. Do not look at mine. Look how trashed my box is at the moment. But super soft, beautiful masterpiece for applique, all those things. So have a look through, and if you've got any questions about what I have popped up and why, then please let me know and I will say, I have no idea. No, I won't say that. Okay, I've cut a piece of the green that I can see is going to be plenty to pop over that leaf, and then I will cut a piece of my violin the same. James is like, ouch, needle turn. Well, we're not going there today, James, don't worry. Yes, Joy, of course you can. Yeah, the marks come off. Sorry, I've gone back and read what you're saying. Yes, the marks do come off. It's just chalk. Chandler's Cottage. Oh, legend. Did you do that, Steve? Steve must have done that. He's popped all that information up for you, Nancy. So hopefully that will make sense for you. And if not, we can come back again. So I've got these two bits. I want to transfer the pattern onto this. So if I grab again my paper, let's see, this is me trialing now. I want to see if this will transfer onto this side of this. I know it will transfer onto the batiks. Let's just see, shall we? So instead of having to cut out a template, I'm popping the fabric underneath with the transfer paper in between, pattern on top. Yeah, I can just see it. So you can do a template, you can pop it on a light box to trace it off, or you can wing it like me live on Facebook. And you can't see that, but I'm just going to use my, not that chalk pen. Which one? Black. There we go. There we go. So there's my little leaf drawn on. Shall I do one in the other one? Because I do want you to be able to see that I'm not messing with you. Let's go this one. There we go. So I hope you all really had a good long weekend. When were we here? We were here 2 days, weren't we? We were back on Monday as well. Which one's light? The one right on the end. It was very, very busy. Very, very busy. Phil came home from Queensland. Steve came home from camp. I finished that Bugs Life top, didn't I? And now, after this, I'm going off to finish quilting it. I've got all the bits, that's better. I've got all the bits cut out for my denim designer tote with the FIGO. I'm not sure that you can even still see that. You have to trust me, it's on there. absolutely on there. Just can't see it in this light. I'll go over it again. Now you know what, I'm going to go over it with a pen because that's just easy. I didn't bring my sandpaper board in. Just so you can see it. Okay. So with both of these, we'll pop a little bit of this violin back to back. So I'm sure you can guess what I'm going to do by now. We are going to run around these with our sewing machine. And then it's just the classic bag out. With a little cut, and we'll use our forceps. We will get the little ironing board out and give that a press when we're finished. And this is going to be super quick. So we'll head over to the sewing machine. Now I'm just going to use white cotton this afternoon. I had a look through my threads to see which ones I could sort of recommend to use, and I found this fantastic colour. So if you're doing lots in these colours, this is number 967 in King Tut. That's brilliant. It's a beautiful, it's a blender, so it's mildly variegated if you really want to go for a matching thread. But with this technique you will find that it's all going to be hidden very nicely underneath. You do want a nice fine stitch. Oh heavens, I haven't told the machine which foot I've got back on. I need to tell it. I'm still a bit nervous about coming back to my big machine. It's been a while. Been on the little ones. Okay. I've used my open toe foot, so I've got a number 20 on, and that way I can really see easily where I'm going because I want to sew straight on the line. Yeah, and also, as I just said, don't go for a big stitch. You really do want a nice small one. I'm going to set it at about 2.2. Just take your time. I mean, this is Mother Nature stuff, okay? So if you go off the line a little bit, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to have a leaf that is a slightly different shape. Just setting my machine so it's got its hover on so that I can, there we go, easily turn. When you get to the point, just flip round. We'll come in and cut that point nice and tight as best we can. That's probably the one downside of this particular technique, is that because you're bagging out, you won't be able to get your points super sharp. But besides that, it's a fantastic technique to use. Cut that thread. Okay, that's it. So we will cut this guy down nice and small, really nice scant 1/4 inch. I would even go to say 1/8 of an inch. We'll chop round the top. We're going to put a fair bit of pressure on this seam, so that's why it's really good to have a nice small stitch. We've got our violin on the back. Right, I'll just do this one as well. Now, what's really nice about doing this at the moment is, we've got a really good, as you know, good collection of fabrics in now for applique. So I'm really spoiled for choice when it comes to finding fabrics to use for each block. And there's a couple like this little speckled gold one that I'm using that is going to be a one-off, and I will stash some of it, to use down the other end of the quilt if needed. But there's a couple that'll be put aside just to use for this. But otherwise, we're going to have the most beautiful variety of fabrics coming through in the kits each month to use. And look, we have to change. We can't do exactly the same as the first quilt, because that would, one, it would be boring, but two, because some of them don't exist anymore. So we just find something new and different to use that will in the same colours. Okay, they're both done. You might find that you need to watch your tension on your machine, because we're still putting together 2 layers, but one of them is the thin violin. Okay, it was way up the other end. So I'll just give those a little press on the fabric side, not on the violin side. Now, if you marked these up and you trace them with a Frixion pen, of course, that will all go now. Let me just grab that little mat. There we go. Okay. So glasses on, because we're up to the nip and tuck stage. And we'll get our little pair of scissors and go to the back of these. And we're going to just nick into the violin. Now look, if you nick the front of your fabric, okay, I don't want any tears, because we've just proven it takes 30 seconds to make one of these leaves. And you've got plenty of fabric in your kit, so you'll be able to come back, do some more. While I'm matching the classic colours in this quilt, if you feel the need to do something quite different, just going to grab my forceps. I have tagged the straight ones today for the show. Up into the top, have your thumb on the top. You want this handle sitting up. You don't want it sitting sideways, you want it sitting up like that. Open them up a little bit. Pop the tip of the leaf into the little teeth at the end. Pull that side through, like that, and then go in again. Pull the other end through the same way, and there's your leaf turned through. If you want to, then just give it a good little shape out, carefully, so that you don't tear the violin. If you want to go down a really different path, I would love to help you do that. So in the history of this quilt, I have seen it done on black in just reds and greys. Quite a feat at the time, but if you wanted that kind of combination, and we could do it just as a one-off pack for you, if you think about our red ombres mixed with some of these beautiful new red metallics, and then for all of the foliage we can go down to greys and silvers, maybe with a pop of green. But if you really want to take it on a different path, more than happy to have a play with you with fabrics and help you do that. Okay, this little guy now is turned through. I've done a little bit of a spit lick finger roll around the edges, but because you've got a nice tight stitch, there's a lot of give in the violin, so it does let you push it out into shape really easily. And we've used a really scant 1/4 inch inside. It's turned and shaped really nicely. So that's not me, that's just the setup of the fabric with the technique. There we go. So there's our leaf, ready to go. We'll do the same with this one. So up into the top, turn that side through. You don't want a big nick, just a little one in the back, just enough to get those forceps through and just pull through that little bit of leaf. Then we'll go to the back and just push gently up into each point. Just smooth around the edges with the tip of the forceps, like that. Okay, and there's our other one. Now I had a gorgeous lady teach me to do the lick and roll, who used to be a shirt designer for Weiss in Sydney, and I remember at the time thinking, well, if it's good enough for her, it's good enough for me. Alright, there we go, like that. And then I remember going back to school and doing it in sewing class, and my very, very strict sewing teacher She was European of some description. I can't remember saying, have you washed your hands before you do that? She was horrified. Okay, there you go. So that one's done. How quick and easy is that? Super quick and easy. Alright, so you've got one that's going to go there and one that's going to go here. Now, as you start to get all your leaves ready, you might find after a while that they all start to look the same. So a couple of options for you. You can number them all on your actual diagram, and then you can just pop a little number with a pen on the back of the violin. The other thing that you can do, I didn't bring one in with me, but the other thing you can do is with your pattern, once you've got all your leaves off, you can just, a little bit of dab of glue, and actually stick it down onto your pattern. Particularly if you're in a quilter's life, because you can just keep reprinting off the pattern. So you could have one to stick your bits onto, you could have another one for your tracing and things going on. Okay, so there's two of mine done, really quick and easy. And then we're going to pop them onto our block. So we'll bring this back over. I must admit, I'm in the comfort zone. It's like a walk down memory lane, but in a new way. You know, we never used to do this sort of thing. And we will use polyfuse, and we will do some with machine applique. We'll really mess around with it so that you can, you know, work with the best, with the techniques that you love the best. So that's that one there. Oh, and look, technical hitch. Lisa did not even draw this one on, but I'm going to wing it. So that one's going to go there on my diagram. Oh, who's got garlic bread? It smells amazing. Is it Phil? Oh, I did give him garlic bread for lunch. Whew, it smells good. Have you got the soup? Soup's done. Okay. I'm going to have a seat. So you've got now more options available to you. You can decide to use a glue stick to pop it down. You might like to be perilous and use a little bit of our Clover double-sided tape. Oh, heaven forbid, but such a good idea, on the back to hold him in place. That stuff's just coming out and getting used way too much at the moment in my sewing room. Or you can go the traditional way, and you can, wait, they're here somewhere, there they are. You can pin it on. Wouldn't that be just different? Pin it on with some applique pins. Mine are in here. Who's late? Who's late? Someone said they're late. Sylvia Trencher, where have you been? Donna, hello to you. Good morning in the UK. How are you today? Hello Polly and Debbie and Carla and Linnell. If I have missed you, I do apologise. Alright. My little pins are a different colour, but they're all the same, just different colour heads on them. So I'm just going to pop a couple of these in. The difference with the little applique pins is they're little stubby things, but they're super sharp, and being shorter they're great to use because then of course you don't get your needles caught on them. Sorry, needles and thread caught on them. I'm going to do that. Now, if you are like Jimmy and you're allergic to applique, which Emma is as well, then at this point, because they're all beautifully pre-shaped, you could just pop straight over to your sewing machine, use a little hemming stitch, a zigzag, blanket stitch, anything like that to put them on. Monopoly if you don't want to see it, alright? So all of that's an option to you. That's pretty good. Steve, can you please get me my needles on my pin cushion on my desk? Please, please. I haven't got it with me. I left it in the other room. In terms of needles, you're really going to want an applique needle. So if you haven't used one before, start with a number 9 and then you can slowly work your way down. 9 is really good if we're just doing straight slip stitching. And when we get to more complicated needle turn, then you'll find going down to a 10 or a 12, thank you very much, would be ideal. But if you haven't done a lot before, then definitely start with, that is not an applique needle. Start with a 9. Now, as I've mentioned before, your applique needles will bend, so you can really use them, there we go, as a tool. Has anyone else got the problem? Because the weather's been so wet, I have to go back and check all of my needles at the moment, particularly if I've left stuff in the car and there's condensation. So I've got some of those, I kept some of those little humectic little pillow things out of everything from the sushi seaweed nori roll wrappers to boxes my shoes came in, and they need to be sewn into my new pin cushions as I go, so then if they get a little bit damp, they absorb all the moisture and my needles and pins don't go rusty. Alright, should we go for the close-up? There we go. So the first thing I would suggest is to tack these on. And tacking means that you'll be able to walk away and take this with you with no pins involved, and it's going to be really enjoyable just to sit and slip stitch on. If you are going to be needle turning under your seam allowance and you haven't already pre-shaped, then you need to tack at least a quarter of an inch in from the edge, so you've got room to tuck your seam allowance under. But if you have already pre-shaped like this, then you can have this tacking stitch out closer to the edge. And if you're thinking about what is it going to be like to embellish and stem stitch down through the extra layer of Violin, I can assure you it really isn't going to make any difference at all, because the Violin has a really nice open weave to it. It won't create any resistance, so it's not going to be any different to perhaps having whisper weft on the back of your embroidery in a hoop. Now, I went round the edge with that one. The other way that you can do it is just straight across. So it's a personal preference thing. Oh, and it'd be really good if that didn't happen. Oh yeah, there we go. So the other way that you can tack is just zigzag straight across. You will get a much flatter finish this way, but if that doesn't worry you, this is going to be quicker. Straight across like that. If you are planning on sewing these down by machine, and I'll be honest, I'll probably do quite a few of mine like that, then I'll pop some lightweight adhesive tearaway underneath, because that's just going to keep everything super flat for me while I am blanket stitching these down, maybe by machine or monopoly with a little blind hemming stitch, and then I can tear the rest off. If you decide to use weft at the back, the adhesive weft that we sell, then you really, I think, need to commit now to doing all of your blocks with it on the back, because there's a lot of toing and throwing between them. I think it'd be really good, because all the blocks are uniform shaped, to have weft on all of them. It's either all of them or nothing. With my applique sampler, we've only added weft to some of them, but they're all different shapes and have different values and weights and things, so it's not such a big deal. But if you're going to do it, I would definitely commit to doing it on all of them, just to keep the weight the same, and you'll really feel that when you come back to quilt it later. I love the idea of doing these, making a whole series of cushions with these. I think it'd be really, really nice. And for our, I'm going to say it eventually, for one of our soirees in the next 12 months, we are looking at actually having a little cushion display, a little viewer's choice cushion display. Because in the Garfield Hall, we've got this lovely long big bench in the greeting room. And I was thinking, I'd love to have them all done as cushions, and then I could sort of swap them around with the seasons, because these are spring, summer, autumn, winter symbols in kanji on the quilt. So I could put the sort of the pinky purple ones out for spring, and the yellows and the purples and things and the bamboo for summer. But you know, I just like the idea of them being cushions. Okay, so now we can just slip stitch these on. In the instructions, in the pattern, you're going to find a lot of good tips on slip stitch, and all my applique girls have already got this well and truly under control. But you need to come up on the fold. So in this case, your fold is your seam line where we've sewn the fabric on the front to the violin at the back. And I want you to come up on the fold, but into the folded bit of fabric on the leaf, not on the violin, because then as you go along, you will not see the violin underneath. So you go straight down into the background, travel along underneath, and then come up again on the fold of the green fabric. And then as you go, you will find that all of your, you just can't see the white. You can just see that little bit here where I've been. There's no white showing, and all of your thread is on the back. So it's going to be a little bit like prepping your paper piecing or prepping your traditional piecing, you know, half an hour in the sewing room in the afternoon. Get these all ready, and then you'll be able to sit down and slip stitch them at night. And this is now a no-brainer. Everything is pre-shaped, it's tacked on. You've just got to make sure that you come along and sit your needle as it comes up on the fold, actually in the fold of the green, and you'll be set. I think what's nice about the pre-shaping as well is if you find it difficult to keep a really fine small stitch, the pre-shaping method is very forgiving. So if you have a spot where you've got a couple of stitches that are really lovely and close, a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch together, but then you have a little bit of a fallout and you watch something on the television and get a bit excited and you jump out to nearly a 1/4 inch in between, it doesn't affect the overall shape of them. As you get up to the points and around the tight corners, having a couple more there would be really good to keep the shape looking nice. But now that it's all together, it's just I could just sit here and talk to you and keep doing this all day. It's really super quick and easy. I'll just show you this bit again. So I'm up, you can see I'm up to here, and all this bit is sewn down, and then on the back, all my stitches are on the back. Okay, so off you go. Go and have a play. I should say that now, shouldn't I? Because you can. With the Quilter's Life as well, as I said, there's a lot of other stuff in there that you can pull down and have a look at. And everything from before July last year is getting taken down at the end of this month, so it's a good time to get in. Thank you very much to all of those that have joined in the last week, and I'm really wrapped you in. Because now you'll be all set to go. So that's all you need from me on getting those leaves shaped if you want to use this method. If you already know how to needle turn, if you already know how to blanket stitch, then you can go off and use that method too. You've got really easy stem stitch for some of the embellishment, and you've also got a bit of chain stitch and whip stitch. So I've put lots of, actually we've put all the knots in there. Oh, French knots for the little, there's little red, if you like, I don't know, start with little berries, little cherry blossom berries on there as well. So there's, I'll give you a closer look up on this very shoddy pattern. You've got little berries, cherries here too. So, but you've got all of your knot patterns in there. I've put little French knots inside my cherry blossoms that we're going to do now as well. What?
Thank you to Miss Barb Lawrence.
Wait, thank you to Miss Barb Lawrence. You're smiling. Why? You're worrying me.
The products had no buy button.
Ah.
So everyone who would like to buy a kit with or without the pattern, you now can.
Right.
Yeah.
That's that charming smile you're trying to just...
And that's that glare.
That's that glare. Do you see that glare? So now they can buy them?
Now they can buy.
Now they can buy them. How's the link to A Quilter's Life? Is that good too?
Yeah.
What I love about it, when Steve doesn't get something quite spot on straight away, I'm off the hook for the next at least hour. Aren't I, Steve? Oh. Did you hear that? I hope you didn't hear that. You be careful, your grandmother's watching. Did you know that Phil set Pam up on Facebook? Serious. She did. Okay, leaves done. Well, you know what I mean. Leaves are done. You can buy one now if you want to. All of that. How handy is that? Sylvia, you are most welcome. Did you get your parcel already? Gee, that's quick. Or maybe you also had Express Upgrade for free. Yes, Steve. Oh, bye. Bye, Phil.
Bye.
Do I get a kiss?
You do.
Ah, thanks. Say hi, Pam.
Hi, Pam.
Go. All right, have a good day.
I will.
All right, now, cherry blossoms. It's all very family today, isn't it? Very, very family. Okay, so I've got 3 different fabrics for you to play with: light, medium, and dark. And with these, I really want you to have a little bit of a play around with different size cherry blossoms. Like with everything, start with a bigger one and work your way down. Let me just have a look here. So we've got all of these going on, and in the pattern I've actually given you 2 sizes. One of them is for the fabric and one is for the sandpaper, but you can actually play around and use both of these for your sandpaper sizes. We've done cherry blossoms, haven't we, 100 times before this particular moment in time? I'm sure we have. So I'm going to use this bit of sandpaper, just a medium weight, doesn't have to be, you know, doesn't have to be any particular one, just a medium weight sandpaper. And I always find it's great to start and use my cotton reel as my template for my circle, because then wherever I go, I know that I've got one. If you saw me try to cut with these scissors before, it's because they're my paper scissors. They're not great. So they have been demoted recently to paper and sandpaper, so just do not use your good scissors. Or you're going to wreck them in one go with the sandpaper. There you go. So we'll draw one of these onto the back. Shall we use this one? I think we'll use this one. Medium with medium. How's that sound? There we are. So drawn on, and then cut out with a generous 1/4 inch seam for me. So we're going to start with a Suffolk puff, and then turn it into a cherry blossom. If you are coming to the soiree like Sylvia from Yamurka on the Sunday, you need to brush up on your Suffolk puffs. Just saying, because we're going to use them. It's all on. And there is Suffolk puffs going to happen. Okay. A really good strong thread is really important for doing these. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's very, very important. So this is a beautiful colour that we've got. It's King Tut, so it's super strong, and it's $9.70. I've only got a few in stock. I can get more, so if we run out just and you're ordering, just give a hoy and we'll pick some up for you. Newsflash, newsflash, newsflash. Yvonne and everyone that wanted one, Steve's just picked up. I forgot to tell you. Oh, I was going to tell you first thing. Lampshades are back in stock. So we've just put back online and just picked up half a dozen of the 30 centimetre beautiful lampshade kits. So I know some of you were waiting on them, and they are back just now. I didn't even bother having a look at which other sizes that perhaps we could get at the same time. I just knew they had them in, so I grabbed them. But I will have a look over the next week for you and see if they've got any of the other cool ones that we used to have. So what was this one? Yeah, $9.70. And I look like I'm sitting at the news desk. Okay, thread, good knot on the end. Run your needle out on the edge 1/8 of an inch in, right round. Stitches don't have to be super small because I want it to be able to pull in. Try and keep that the circle flat for now. Right round, right round. So if you can start with something about the size of your King Tut or your Magnifico or something similar, shot glass, top of a champagne flute to start with, not a cocktail glass. Catherine or anyone else that is partaking this afternoon, too big. Okay, so right round, you're going to pop your sandpaper template down into the middle, sand side down. Now you do want a bit of steam for this, and remember my little shift at the moment is not so much using steam with my iron, but I am using a water bottle instead so that I stop burning my fingers. So give it a pull in, a little bit of a spray. So you can see it's nicely pulled in around our sandpaper, and then give it a press. We'll give it a flip. There we are. And the thing about the sandpaper is it superheats. The sand superheats, so it gives you a really nice permanent press. Use that same bit of thread just to pull it back into shape, and then just give it another press with the iron. There you go. And then we'll cut off that thread, because you do need to start with it separately. If you keep using the same bit of thread, you end up in a real mess, because you don't want the gathering stitch that we've just done to continue on to the next step. Now you're going to take your needle up into underneath the fold, bring it up on the fold of the fabric, and then do a gathering stitch right round on the fold, not too small, about 1/4 of an inch gap. Now, Sylvia, and Fiona and everyone else coming up to Nagambi, we will be doing these. You will have an option of just doing them as a Suffolk puff or turning them into a cherry blossom. That's all I'm saying. I put up another post on the soiree today. I added a couple more ingredients to my Sunday kit, just to tease you just a little bit. We were talking about it. Marg and I were talking yesterday, and we decided we might pop back up to the hall before the event just to talk to the lovely ladies there that run the hall and the op shop, because there was all these gorgeous old lamps and glassware and everything in the op shop, and we're actually thinking we might be able to use quite a bit of it for display in the hallway and the stage and things, and then we've got the chance to buy it while we're there. So there's our little Suffolk puff. It's gone right round, keep them nice and neat, and then I always do a few stitches down through the folds so that it just holds all those pleats in place before I do the next step. I've got my teacher's voice on today, haven't I? I think it's because I'm in my comfort zone and I just love teaching this stuff. I will bring this, Sylvia, I will bring, and the others, I will bring this quilt up with me. Marie, I don't know. It's just a medium weight. There's nothing, it's just yellow, and it came from Bunnings, and it's just, you don't want any of the really heavy grey stuff. Just a medium weight in the yellows, absolutely fine. I will bring this quilt up with me. Oh, Joy, excellent. Yes, Yvonne, I knew you wanted one. Joy, I knew you wanted one. And Merle, really? 22 degrees in Coffs Harbour. Seriously? Carleen, good afternoon to you. No, Denise, the techniques won't be taken down. Well, anything, no. All of the techniques for the applique sampler and stuff will stay. It's just all the other posts like recipes and free download patterns and things from before July last year. Because as I've said, it's not fair on those joining, those that have been in since day one. It gets to that point, so we'll pull some stuff down. There you go, Suffolk puff. Right, I need you to bring your needle up through the middle and go straight back down. So it's all about setting yourself up so your needle's in the middle as you go down, and you bring your needle up and over the edge and go down again. And now you're going to hold it with your fingers and pull. And that pull, see that? It's going to pull in that little edge, and that's what forms the shape of your petals. When you start this off, I would suggest doing 4 petals first so that you actually cut the little Suffolk puff in half and then into quarters. And once you've had a few goes with this, and it doesn't matter if you match them up in the same project with ones that have got 4 or 5 petals, honestly it doesn't. So there you can see there, that's now in half. Oh, hold it that way for you can see it. And then we'll go quarters the other way. So if you've got a stash of beads, embroidery threads, then you're going to have a lot of fun adding some French knots and or beads into the center. You might even have some little gold or red beads that you could use instead of doing colonial or French knots for the cherries as well. Heaven knows what you've got in your stash. How's that? There you go. There's a little 4 petal. So I'll just do a little finishing stitch on the back. If I had my block ready now, I could sew that straight on. You're going to face that debate all the way through with this quilt, whether to add all of your 3D work before or after it's quilted. For me, this quilt's actually not too bad. I think, yeah, no, with this quilt you can add everything. You can add everything. You don't have to hold it back. And that's probably why I've never secured down the throat petals or these 3D petals on the iris. One, so I can show people how they're done, but also just so I can get my quilting needle in through here. But I'm pretty happy that you can do all of this, yeah, and quilt it later. Definitely, I think you can. If you wanted to leave anything, you might leave these off. I don't know. I know that I said to Natasha to leave some of the things off, and we definitely need to with the applique sampler. But I think with this, we're pretty good. We're pretty good. So there you go. I'll just hold that back on there for you. You can see it again. So that is 1. So that's how small they come down to. So he's 3/4 of an inch, and he has come off, yeah, 1.5. So there is quite a rule of thumb there that your finished flowers are always going to be half what your original template is. So that gives you a little bit of a guide of what sizes to use. And the other thing that changes is it's much easier to do smaller ones if you're working with quite a fine fabric. So I can get down to really small little cherry blossoms beyond what I do with the North Kit with the batik. I can get much smaller because it's a tight weave and it's a thinner fabric. But you'll have more of a challenge on your hand with things like the Fairy Frost because it's got that luster on it, so it's a little bit thicker. So maybe as a rule of thumb to start, try some of the bigger ones first with the Fairy Frost, and as you go down to the smaller ones, work your way down with these two. So now that that little blossom is done, I'm just going to pin him up here. Ginny hasn't been near this yet. Isn't that wonderful? No fur. Nothing. And it's not going to happen either. Definitely not. Okay. So I think I showed you all of that. The other thing is doing the stem, this bit round here. So we'll go through that now. And again, it's going to be up to you which fabric you want to use. In your kit, Steve and I cut these samples so I could show you what the kit looks like. And I have realised we actually need to change this particular piece. So you'll get a 10 centimetre cut of this one, and you'll get a 10 centimetre cut of the sprout, but you will get a fat eighth of the celadon, and that's because I want you to use this one for the stem. And in doing that, then I'm going to have enough to actually cut a proper bias strip. So I just need it to be that bit wider so I can cut a piece on the diagonal. I'm going to wing it with this bit because I've got it here cut already. So, Steve, can you pass me a ruler? Oh, it's alright, I've got one. I'm good. I've ordered these big guys in Creative Grids, by the way, yesterday, so they are coming with a couple of others. So, yippee-doo-dah. And I've got a few of you, Fiona and a couple of others, are waiting on 4.5 by 18.5 inch rulers, and they'll be here tomorrow. I love our local supplier for Creative Grids. He's fantastic. When we get this new copier, and when we've had training with the spaceship, I'm going to have to do a Facebook Live for you. I am. You're going to have to see it. It's a big thing for us, and it's just going to be so exciting to I'm going to stop for a minute because I knew, you know what I was going to do then, don't you? I was going to cut a piece that was only wide enough for a 1/4 inch bias maker. Let me just go again. So it just means we'll be able to do a lot of extra special things for you, and a lot of extra special things for our wholesale customers too. Let's look at this. Okay, in the pattern, it tells you how to do a traditional method, which is to sew down a strip on the outside, bring it up and over. AQL girls like our skinny stems, and slip stitch it down on the other side. That's great. That's not what we're doing today. Let's do it an easier way. So these are, what do you reckon? They are about 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to cut a piece that's 3/4 of an inch wide. As I said, we will cut you a fat eighth instead of a long skinny strip, so that you've got more width to cut this strip off. I'm going to change that. Alright, ironing board. This is freestyle stuff, okay? We are not going to worry about the lines on my pattern or anything. We are just going to get your finger, turn it in that way so you can see. Just get your finger, and as you go along, push a little bit up. Just push a little bit up. And I'm getting a wiggly, twisted crease and fold. Like that. Same on the other side. So this is where we're going to find out your true personality. You're going to be, no, 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 I need it to look exactly like the diagram. I can't do it. I can't do it. I've got to conform. I've got to follow the line. And that is absolutely fine. And if you were sitting down in a needle turn applique class with me at a guild where I'd been paid to come and teach the traditional method, that's what we'd be doing. But we're not. Oh, speaking of guilds and lots of fun, Naughty Quilters, Saturday, Diamond Creek, I'll be there. So If you know the guild, if you know where it is, if you want to look it up, I'll be there on Saturday. From about 10, having a chat with the pop-up shop, and then I'm guest speaking in the afternoon. Oh, great. Now my aunt's watching as well. Fantastic. Good afternoon, Annie Ruth. Karen, get on and grab one. Grab one. They're there now. Marie's son here should be on the back. Also, can you consolidate the downloads into one file? No, I don't know. Okay, so the grit should be the grit on the back. Oh, yes, it probably is on the back. Sorry, but I don't have the whole sheet in front of me at the moment. So if you want to email me, I can provide you with that information. The patterns will come out once a month. So if you want to consolidate them all down onto one USB from a Quilter's Life or something like that, then you can do that. However you want to store them when you download them off the club is entirely up to you. So that's what you can do. But they will come out once a month onto a Quilter's Life. And what I should say as well, they don't stay up. Okay? You've got a month to get them down. So it goes up today and it will come down on the 14th of July. And then on the 15th of July, the new one will come up. Now that's actually described when you go into the club. But we're not leaving them up. And again, for the same reason, this is for our loyal members that stay in, which is $10 a month. If I left them all up, and then someone could walk in the door for $10 at the end of the 10 months and grab them all. So they stay up for a month and then they come down. So in the first one, you've got the setup instructions, and then in the 10th month, you will get all of the quilt assembly and these guys. And Cass has got that all set up, ready to go. We had the video, and I can add any little extra bits as we go, but it's all been set up super fast, and it's all ready to go. Okay, this is our stem. Can you see that there around there? So this end gets tucked under that leaf. There's a little minor detail to add in the stem before the tip of that leaf. Okay. So I have created a wiggly stem, and I'm completely ignoring the curves that are on my design, but I am still following the all over curve so that I keep that circle shape. And for those doing Be Mindful, Michelle Hill's quilt, I'm sure by now that you've gone, hey, Michelle's got that whole circular thing going on with her designs in the quilt I'm doing. And yeah, that's absolutely right. It does bear a lot of design resemblance to this quilt because of the curves and the circles. Oh, I've gone rogue. I've got to stay on that outer line because I only drew on the outer line. Who said see you at Notty? Someone said see you at Notty. Oh, yes, Joe, I shall see you there. Super and roll day, big day. I believe there's a brewery next door now, Joe, which is where they tell me they go to get their coffee. I'm not too sure if they really mean their coffee. Well, I'll have to find out when I get there. All right, so that's where the stem comes down to on this side, and then it will sit under another leaf. So I'm just going to pin this here for now. So look, you can sit and needle turn pre-shape if you want, or you can do what I've just done there and just done the wiggly iron. You just don't want it, you don't want a formal 1/4 inch bias. You really want it to get that nice sort of natural botanical look. There's a little bit of bubbling going on, but because it has been cut on the bias, when I give it a press, that will all settle down. Ta-da. Now, a couple of options for you now as well. To hold this in place, you could go through with your Roxanne glue. I haven't brought mine in today, but we had it out, didn't we, last time? So just a little dab of glue, dot, 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 to hold it in place while you are actually sewing it down. You can run a tacking stitch through. Again, because we've already got it pre-shaped, and I don't know, I think I'll put my needle back in, but because we've already got it pre-shaped, you don't need to leave a 1/4 inch either side. So I would just do that zigzag stitch that we did on this second leaf, you know, a bit of a zigzag tack right round on that to hold it in place while you slip stitch down each side. But you do want to get those pins out, don't you, because they drive you nuts trying to slip stitch right round there with them in, let's face it. And then they fall down the cushions in the couch, and then your husband steps on them, and he still talks about it 15 years later about how one went into his knee. You don't want any of that. You just want it to be really nice and easy and relaxing for the evening. So, oh no, my needle's still in there. So it's going to go, no, one more. That's the start of those going on. So I've been jabbering onto you a lot, quick and fast to do, and it's going to be a lot of fun. The whip stitch that's up here as well, when you have a close look at it, and you can see this block up close on the internet, I've used 2 different colours of thread, so that gives it a really nice little cute effect as well. Okay, so who's hi everyone? Hello Flick, where have you been? We've done the whole thing, mate. Where have you been this afternoon? Alright, so I hope you're kind of on board and you're going to have a go. There is a lot more to a quilter's life than just the Baltimore, so I hope you'll get in and have a look. If you do join up, please remember to follow all of the categories that you want to get notifications for. You'll always get everything, but unless you actually click that little follow button, and I'm doing that because when you actually look at each section on the screen, the little button to follow is over on the right hand side. Click that and then you'll always be notified when something new has gone up. So we will be going through the geisha quilt with the Quilters Life members. I'll be doing that, I think I'm doing that, when am I doing that? Sunday, and telling them all about the special offer on the early bird kits and things like that. And then we will be here next Tuesday to talk about it in general with everybody. But heads up warning, it's only running through a Quilter's Life. So you have to be a member to actually get the pattern for the geisha, and that's just what we have decided to do at the moment. You'll be able to buy the option of buying a kit to start up for all of the fabric that's in it, and then it's only going to run through there because I need the flexibility to be able to give you more information as we go through in between each month. So I've just always said I'm going to do that, and that's what we're going to do with it. So please have a look in there and see if it's something you want to do. I've got really serious, haven't I, again, the telly-selly voice. Sorry about that. But yes, please have a look at all the fabrics and stuff, all the new ones. Now the shadow plays are still on special. They are not marked today, but they are there. So you might even want to have a look through and see if there's something, if you're going to do it through a Quilter's Life, that you would like to use as your background, if we've got enough yardage to do that. So hop into a Quilter's Life, get your first pattern, get yourself organised. You will need, now I don't think, that's a technical issue, I don't think the requirements are in there. Let me tell you how much you need. I've just realised we haven't put requirements down. It's pretty obvious when you get started each month, you'll know what you need in terms of the amount of fabric, but the overall background I don't think we've actually put on, which I'm really, really sorry. I will fix that up now. You need 2.5 meters of background. If you're going to do it with your own fabric, 2.5 meters is going to give you your 9 fat quarter blocks. So if you want to do your own fabrics, 2.5 meters is what you're going to need. Okay, how's that? Good? Now I've got to go and pull the whole stand down again and go again. Actually, no, what happens now is I go and quilt, finish quilting A Bug's Life, finish my applique sampler borders, work on the designer tote and several other things, and pack the car to go to Nottie on Saturday, which will be really exciting. So you please enjoy the rest of your week. Any questions, please send them through to info@chandlerscottage.com as always. And check out the Needleworkers Soiree page, because we're starting to put up some very serious sneak peeks of what we'll be doing for that weekend. And also, I will see you at 2 p.m. next Tuesday with Miss Emma, and we are going to go through, reveal the geisha quilts in their first 2 versions and talk about what's coming up for the 3rd version, which is the one we're going to do through A Quilter's Life. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much for joining me. You're welcome, you're welcome. All right, fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Love you lots, and I'll see you next week. Okay, bye.